3. Note-taking study at page 210. Cattle kingdoms, causes and effects. So we'll go through down and just fill it in as we go. The question we're trying to answer is what led to the boom and bust of the cattle industry. So first, railroads swept across the plains. The effect of this is that Texas Rangers began driving cattle to the rail lines, and they wanted to get cattle to distant markets in the east. Cowhands followed these trails, such as the Chisholm Trail and the Goodnight Lovin' Trail. And you can see here here's a map of that, and the red going up from Texas is these are the driving the cattle up into so that they can be taken to the East Coast and a little bit to the West Coast, but mostly to the East Coast. The next cause is cowhands who drove cattle needed to unwind at the end of the trail. They faced dangers, panicked animals, stampedes, fires, thieves. And so cowtowns sprang up along the rail lines. Here, dance halls, saloons, hotels, and restaurants served the cowhands. Next cause is cowhands borrowed much from the Spanish, Mexican, and vaqueros, which is a Spanish word for cowboys. And so cowhands learned how to ride, rope, brand. They wore spurs, chaps, broad brim hats. Much of this comes from actually Argentinian cowboys. And the next cause is William Buffalo Bill Cody created a traveling Wild West show. And the effect of this is the myth of the Wild West. It's a place of violence, adventure, and endless opportunity to spread. So there was this myth that the West, you could do anything you wanted. It was very violent. And the reality was, there's some truth to that, but the reality was it was not true. This Journal of James Bell should show you what it was really like on the cattle drives rather than what was done in the show. So take time to read over this. You can pause it and start the video again. Done. Also answer the questions as well. The fifth cause is profits rose. New breeds of cattle had fewer diseases and got a lot more meat than the Longhorns did that they were driving. And so the cattle industry booms. Backers from the Eastern Europe invested millions in huge cattle companies. In the 1880s, there was bad weather, there was an economic depression, lower demand for beef in competition with sheep, and farmers fenced in much of the open range so that cattle drivers couldn't drive their cattle across the land. And the result of this is the cattle industry collapsed in the 1880s. Railroads expanded their lines and moved closer to the ranches that were actually raising cattle, and the effect of that was that large rands of long cattle drives vanished. The cattle boom was over. It had started and was over within a brief about 20 years.